I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. I'm a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another blow. Let's go.
Hey, yo. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Mac, joined here with my co-host, Kristin, and welcome back to another episode of the MK Productions podcast. We're doing a little different intro because I'm sick of that intro real quick. So how you doing today, Kristin?
I'm good. And then we should start playing the nowadays. Guess who's back? Shady's back.
Again.
No.
Tell a friend. Yeah, we're back. Last episode we did was our big fall movie guide, and if you're keeping up with us, it's been busy. I've been doing 31 Nights of Macoween throughout the month of October. I'm reviewing a horror movie every day in the month of October. So by the time this comes up,
insane. And I have to give you so much credit because I sit there sometimes like with myself in my life. I get so busy that I feel like sometimes I don't have the time to sit down and write a full review or record in a day. But you're doing outstanding.
Yeah, well, when you had a practice last year when I did the 25 days of Christmas, that was like, okay, maybe I could do something like this. And I kind of had thoughts about doing this for a couple months now. And like I kind of started writing the reviews a month ahead, so I at least got up to like the days I want to do. It's just the thing of like, man, the days creep up on you sometimes. You're like, oh wow. So luckily, and it's the time of this recording, I have edited out 2 more episodes through October 19th, but everything else should be wrapped up in the coming weeks. And yeah, I'll be breaking from that and then doing the 25 days of MMR Xmas. Gotta get some more Christmas movie.
Yeah, you've been doing. What was the best movie you got to review so far for Macoween? Or are you saving that for last?
No, because the last movie is kind of I'll just go ahead and say it's gonna be The Fanatic because that movie's just too funny. But I think my favorite review I did had to be The Wicker Man because that movie is just it's funny.
The horror, not the the original horror, but the 2006.
Yeah, that movie is so funny, especially I got my good friend Jason. He provided some audio for it, and he inserted himself in the review, so that was pretty cool. And I don't know, I think sometimes I make myself laugh with my editing, and like the editing it's like when cold cocking a woman in a bear suit, it just cuts to the bear suit. I just lose it. I was like, nice, okay. I have to give myself laughter sometimes. It's like, yeah. And it gives me an opportunity this month to show that, hey, I can do something like this. So maybe you might get a 14 days of like Valentine's Day reviews or
that's cute.
Same
14
Patrick's
days
Day.
of like rom-coms.
Yeah,
which you were a part of, when I got to do with Kath reviews on Instagram, and we were able to get a whole bunch of Instagram cinephile accounts to review a romantic comedy. But that would be great on your end, to see too.
Yeah, so keep on the future for any more. I'm definitely going to do the 25 days of Christmas, but forgetting about ourselves for a minute, we got another good, exciting episode of the MK Productions podcast for y'all today. We're going to be going over some news recently, especially over a certain live event DC put on yesterday as we're recording this. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Then we'll be getting into some movies we actually watched recently. I'll be going first by talking about the Many Saints of Newark, which I just watched last night.
Your short review of it. Like I got to ramble on about, a couple movies in the past. Now it's your turn to ramble on about, The Sopranos.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that. And then Kristin, we'll be discussing Daniel Farrands' new movie.
And you get to jump on this too, because I want to hear what you have to say about it too, because I'm not the only one who watched it. I was talking to you about it a lot.
I was forced to watch it. And no, actually, I wanted to watch it. It's going to be Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about
whatever.
Whatever for last week. I got to start these questions back up, or I got to do box office numbers. Probably that. We'll just do box office numbers and what's next on the podcast.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Are you ready to get started?
Let's talk some DC.
Yep, let's get into the news.
This is CNN.
All right, so the news, obviously, we're going to start off with the DC fandom recap. I'm pretty sure that Kristin watched it, and I watched it when I was at work. I watched the entire live stream. Good God,
I was in and out of it for the most part. Like, I was reviewing some stuff on Twitter. I was out doing, typical fall girl stuff, out with my family. doing the pumpkin spice, the pumpkin picking, and the apple picking this past weekend. Besides catching up on that, I had to do, the family bonding, fall activities. I got to get that stuff in there. And I also need to apologize. I sound really, really hoarse. I am in the mix of allergy season, and I know I'm probably not sounding great on air.
Yeah,
So
you're
I'm
fine.
apologizing in advance to all of our viewers and listeners.
All right, Kristin. So, what do you think of DC fandom? Like, what were some things that stood out to you? So we won't get too long on the topic. We'll just talk about the stuff that stood out to us. Because obviously, do you want to just talk about the Batman trailer first?
What's black and blue and dead all over?
This is a powder keg. And prisoners to match.
So, take it easy, sweetheart.
I've been trying to reach you.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
You're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. See the new trailer online.
I think that's the biggest controversy topic that came out of that right now is the latest Batman trailer.
What's the controversy with it? I thought the trailer
Not
was
so much
badass.
controversy, I'm saying the wrong word, but more the hype and news for that.
Oh, yeah.
And saying that, it is set for an March 4th, 2022 release. And I must say, it looks phenomenal.
Yes.
My whole jaw dropped to the floor, and I was literally just getting in the door from everything, and I remember pulling up in the car and just being like, oh, and I just missed the last 10 minutes of the DC fandom, and I was able to scroll through the little YouTube video, and I got to it, and I was like, oh my god, and everybody was in the car with me, and we were all watching it from my phone. Everybody was hovered over me, and we were all just freaking out. So no, I'm just not excited. There's a whole group of people that were with me that are excited to see this.
I was at work and I was helping a lady with a Roku stick, and I turned to my computer and I saw the trailer because they were just like, all right, enough with the panel with Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson. Let's get to the trailer. And I saw explosions like, oh, that's Batman, and I had to scroll back through and watch it. I actually watched it 3 times in the span of 30 minutes just to get.
It looks incredible. I think people are going to understand why now he's casted as it, especially you can hear it in his voice.
No voice module. That's good.
Yeah, which is insane. And he sounds really, really good. And he looks really, really good. He reminds me of a younger Batman who we haven't had in a while. Not that we, some people did not enjoy Ben Affleck's, older Batman. Now we're getting, it looks like a younger Batman who's stepping into this Gotham City universe.
It's a year 1 for people who do not know. This new Batman movie is based on year 1. So it's pretty much his early days as Batman. He wasn't the legend of Gotham City. He was still the whispers of there's something at night that is dressed like a bat. But it's he wasn't who we know as today. He was still trying to find what he wanted to be as justice.
And I must say, out of all the people casted in that film, Penguin, Colin Farrell looks completely unrecognizable.
My mom didn't know who it was, so I said it. She's like, what?
Yeah, nobody knew who Colin Farrell was even casted in this film. And I was saying,
Penguin.
that's Colin Farrell. That's Penguin. He looks so incredible. I was amazed. I really, really was. And I see really high hopes with him in the future. I have a feeling that they're going to really incorporate him in a lot of materials. Matt Reeves is going to do.
He said, Matt Reeves says that the Penguin's not really in this movie a lot. It's kind of he's in it, but he's not going to be in it for that long.
At least it would be enough to get me invested because it's really going to involve a lot of pretty much the Riddler.
Yeah, and one thing that people have noticed from the trailer is that we did not see the face of Paul Dano as the Riddler. We only saw a glimpse of the mask, but they are explicitly like hiding his face.
Yeah, I like the fact that they didn't really show him. I want to be surprised when I go see it or once reviews start coming in. I'm gonna probably dodge most of the reviews,
Yeah,
but I
same.
do want to see how he is gonna look. Like I really want to be surprised. I really do, and I'm just really excited for it. And actually, now I was on the fence about Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I've gotten a warm spot after what I just saw.
I
That
was
trailer.
trying to convince everyone. They're like, I don't know about so like she can do well. I know that as an actress, she hasn't really had that one role that's like, man, I want to see Zoe Kravitz in one movie. But like for the small doses I've seen her in, I enjoy her. So
I enjoyed her too. I was like on the hype train of like saying, oh, Eliza Gonzalez should be Catwoman, but maybe I was wrong, and maybe Zoe Kravitz was the right person. And I'm happy if this is going to turn out great. She does look really good,
yeah,
though, in this trailer, and I'm excited for it. But that's again March 4th, 2022. We're going to be getting Matt Reeves as Batman. And one more question before we move on to the next major news that came out. Is this good? Do you remember if this is going to be a 3-part film?
I think they said 2-part.
2-part? Okay. Because it's so funny now, like, again, before we move on, we were just talking about the event that Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers, is it Warner Brothers? I forgot. DC, excuse me, put on a few, back, I guess, in August or September when they did the, like, drive-in or
Warner
secret
Brothers,
screening
they did
of
it for
the
all
film.
they did the
studio
studios
screening, and it was like 3 hours long, and
3-hour cut.
people were scared and people were like mesmerized by the Riddler. So it's so funny how we were just talking about it, and now we have the trailer, and now by the time this comes out, it'll be almost the end of October, and now we'll just be talking about
that trailer.
So it's insane.
Yeah, and I think that just for piece of information, the new trailer was the film 100% done. The first trailer we saw last year, the film was only 25% done. So
yeah, but that's great. We're gonna now move on to, what do you want to talk about next?
How about, did you like that sneak peek we finally got for Black Adam? That was footage, all right. After almost 3 years, we finally actually get to see some of the movie for Black Adam.
It was fine.
You're not excited for Black Adam?
I mean, like, I'm gonna watch it, but then again, I think, like, again, my hopes of, like, Dwayne Johnson are, like, really dying down nowadays. Because now, like, ever since we had our conversation, I felt like, with past, guests or, watching films with him over and over again and seeing how The Rock is pretty much the same person every time. Don't get me wrong, he's still a great actor, and still good in the performances that he can. I just feel like, am I going to be watching The Rock but in a cape?
Maybe.
But, hey, I'm going to watch it. I think it looks okay. I'm not crazy hyped as a lot of other audiences members are. I think it just looks, fine. I am going to see it, though.
I'll watch it, too, because, we will connect to the new Shazam movie, which I'm also excited for. But the one thing besides Batman I liked from DC fandom, I know you don't play video games, but the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, I want to play that so bad because it looks really, really, really fun and funny.
The other thing, we got a look at like a little teaser of a behind the scenes look of The Flash with Ezra Miller and
Michael Keaton.
With Michael Keaton, and I must say, I don't
know Netflix Batman's dead.
Okay.
That's literally the thing. They're like, yeah, he's dead in this movie because his mask is right there. He's dead.
Yeah. I was so confused when I watched the look of Ezra Miller and their. I should announce that Ezra Miller uses they them pronouns, so I'm trying to be, politically correct here, not, hurt his feelings or, said anything wrong. But they revealed like this exclusive look, and I must just say I don't like the choker neck that he's rocking here. He has this choker. They are wearing this choker.
Ezra
neck.
has a choker neck that looks terrible.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a leash. I don't know why people like to wear choker necklaces. It does not look attractive on many people, and I don't know why he's wearing it.
Because you never grow up.
I mean, they are wearing it. Sorry.
You never grow up from being emo.
That, or they think their neck is going somewhere. They might lose their neck. That was like, do they think like, I don't know. Like I'm looking back at some of the teaser now, and I'm looking at it back now. We see the former mansion, the home of, Bruce Wayne, and, looking at Ezra pulling the lever, and there is the suit.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Pull the lever, Kronk. That's been
yeah.
I mean, did you see the meme that's going around of it's like TikTok now? It's like Yzma.
I avoid
like
TikTok.
Llama.
I avoid TikTok like the plague.
Don't forget, I'm on it, folks. Miss Flamingo. Don't forget. But yeah, we're seeing a look at the Flash, and it's got the ring, the Flash ring, and the boots, and all the 9 yards. And I think it'll be okay. I really wasn't crazy about the Flash when I saw the Justice League, and then I still have yet to watch the Snyder Cut.
You are so behind.
I know. I got sidetracked with so many other projects. I haven't had the time to sit down and watch it yet. I'm thinking I'm gonna watch it before 2022. Like when we get that long Christmas break. Everybody gets that like long Christmas break to spend time with families, and everybody's away from work. I feel like that might be a good time for me to sit down and watch it.
All right.
I'm not dodging any bullet. I really want to watch it. We also got Black Adam, Shazam. Helen Mirren is gonna be in it, and then we also got the Peacemaker revealing.
I really want to watch that.
I really want to watch the Peacemaker trailer. I really did they released a clip a couple of days ago, and I liked what I saw. And there was a few days ago, I believe it was James Gunn or John Cena tweeted out like a picture, and it was I think it was like a wanted poster or something like that. Yeah. And it was like a number, and to call, and because that has been that's a popular marketing trend nowadays, where you just call up a number and you don't know how the conversation is going to go. You might get an answer or whatever from somebody. And I called the number, and it was the Peacemaker, and it was just the clip of that scene, the one that was just the clip. So it really didn't do much. So, but yeah, we are getting the new series on January 13th, 2022, and it'll be on HBO Max, and it's going to just basically take off where we last saw Suicide Squad. Other major news, we got a look at Aquaman's newest suit, and I like it. I like it.
I really don't care. Aquaman's overrated.
Can't talk to you about Jason Momoa or nothing. And they also revealed Black Manta's suit.
I like that.
Manta's suit. He looked good. I really liked it. And then anything else? We got some. We got DC animated film news coming out. So,
the only thing that's Harley Quinn coming back next year, season 3.
The 4 animated films will be released in 2022, alongside with an animated short film. These films include Teen Titans Go, DC Superhero Girls, Green Lantern, Beware My Power, The Battle of Super Sons, and The Batman Long Halloween. That actually sounds fun, the Long Halloween. Doesn't that sound fun? That'd be good for you to review next year.
Yeah, it's not Halloween movie. It's just like, hey, the Long Halloween was actually a bait. Christopher Nolan used that for The Dark Knight. No, I'm just saying that he used that as like his source material. It's a fun fact of that.
I didn't know that.
The more you know.
What is this? I'm just seeing this now because I'm recapping some of the news right now, and it says DC Super Pets official preview.
Oh yeah, that's Crypto the Super Dog. That's the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah. Now you're saying that. I remember Dwayne Johnson. This is actually the project I'm more excited about for Dwayne Johnson. This I want to see because first of all, it's gonna have superhero puppies, and I'm here for it. Give it to me.
Did you watch the show when it was on Cartoon Network, Crypto the Superdog?
No, I did not.
I did, and I'm excited for this because like
I'm gonna dress up my dog as a superhero then once that comes out.
I just like I don't know. I think the thing about the superhero pets, I think that's a very, very funny, and I'm actually really excited.
It's cute because it's like it would be good for young kids. So it's like almost like Paw Patrol in a way. But
Yeah,
actually, superheroes. It's like a fun version of it, and a lot of young kids can it's a great way for young kids to be introduced to the superhero world. I think it's cute.
Yeah,
all right, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, watch Crypto the Superdog, then watch the new one, the Super Pets movie. Crypto Superdog's good too. But they do it's a series. It was on Cartoon Network. But if that's it for the DC fandom news, overall, DC is coming back, and they look like it might kick Marvel's ass in the next couple of years. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, what do you think of how that's going on between Marvel and DC? I'm really impressed I think everything that I saw, everybody was really impressed with the Batman trailer. I think that this was what the whole vet was going towards, was the Batman trailer.
Well, think about it, that when you look at the release schedule for DC films, the first movie that's coming out next year is the Batman. So they have high hopes that this will kick off, like, because you're thinking about DC is really turning the corner with their releases of the film and everything, because you're starting to hear that people from Marvel, they're kind of getting a little stale with stuff, and they're like, there's not really the only Spider-Man movie. It's just Spider-Man that's really like people excited for. I've heard a lot of people talk about the Eternals or anything, and then it's just Spider-Man.
I'm so mixed with the Eternals. I must say that as like, as somebody who, who's a really big Marvel fan, I'm not.
It looks boring.
That's what everybody says. Like, I was trying to talk to some of my friends, and I was like, all right, are we going to see Eternals?
No.
My two friends were excited. Everybody else around me is like, nope, I don't care. Everybody was good for Shang-Chi. Everybody's good for Spider-Man. When it comes to Eternals, nobody cares. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't care either. I'm just seeing it because it's Marvel,
Yeah, maybe that's how they make their money, because it's Marvel, but it's going to be
That's how it is nowadays, unfortunately, because Marvel's not afraid to stick their name on it. And, everybody, I took my group of friends to go see Venom. They all really liked Venom too, and I enjoyed Venom too.
But DC is going to be a main competition for Marvel, and the battle lines will be drawn. But if that's it for the DC fandom news, you got any other news we can talk about?
Not really. I think we should get into the discussion of.
Wait, I have news.
You have news. I want to hear what this news is.
Okay, so box office reports. The weekend, we're streaming on October 17th, and if you didn't know, Halloween Kills, the sequel to 2018's Halloween, it released in theaters, and it has made $50 million its opening weekend, and it's the best box office debut of the same day streaming releases because it is available to watch on Peacock for 60 days, and then it'll disappear. But unfortunately, the reviews for Halloween Kills have not been good. They've been very, very mixed.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I did do this, though, folks. I will say this. I'm not going out to the theaters and see it because I don't really have time to go see it, given my time strength and because of other films I want to see. So I got the Peacock subscription, and I'm going to cancel it once I'm done with it.
That's worthy. Yes, that's true, because no one uses Peacock.
Yeah, I think it'll work for Peacock if they could say, hey, this will work for us for 60 days, and then we got to say, kick the boot. Okay. At least we made money for that month.
Yeah, true. And they only have The Office, and that's it. But yeah, the only news we had to talk about today was DC fandom. If you have any news, you can leave down in the comments below, or you can send us a message on MAK Productions Podcast on Instagram, and we can shout you out and give you credit for the news. But with that being said, let's move on to the discussion we have at hand for my quick thoughts on Many Saints of Newark and our thoughts on Ted Bundy.
When I was a kid, guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Antonio Soprano.
You're my nephew. I want to do whatever I can to help you.
The Many Saints of Newark. In cinemas now.
All right, so our mini discussion plus discussion. I'm going to start off first with the film I watched actually last night. I watched The Many Saints of Newark, a Sopranos story, and it is a crime drama film directed by Alan Taylor and is written by David Chase and Lawrence Koner. It is a prequel to David Chase's HBO crime drama, The Sopranos. It takes place during the 1960s and 70s in Newark, New Jersey, and it kind of explains how the main character from the series, Tony Soprano, became who he was in the environment he grew up with. And that's the best I can say with it, because this movie is okay.
Really?
Yeah, so right off the bat, I'm judging it as a film itself. I've never seen The Sopranos. I know Tony Soprano, I know James Gandolfini, and I know that people were pissed at the ending because it just cut to black. So it's like, oh, okay, so they didn't know how to end the show. But at first, when I first saw the trailers for it, I was thinking like, okay, maybe this movie looks kind of okay. But after a while, I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I'm kind of curious with it. And I will say it does give me in the mood to kind of do a Sopranos binge and see how it connects. But the film itself is very the cast did a great job. It's just the script. I did not like the script.
The script, who was it written by? Because I do want to have the questions about the director that I do want to talk about, given the director of the film.
It's funny because it was written by David Chase and Lawrence Koner, and David Chase actually made The Sopranos from 1999. He made it. So you have the person who created it writing. It's just the thing with this type of movie, that's why I kind of hate prequel movies, because they always have to lay out everything for the people who know and are pre-established with it. Because if you want to do a prequel film, you got to make it a movie to stand on its own and be able to.
Which is a challenge that many films or even series have trouble of doing.
Yeah, and this movie is just like, hey, we're gonna shove in as many Sopranos references as we can, and you're gonna know. Some of you might get it, some of you not. And even with that, they kind of don't really go into the details of why Tony became who he was in the series. You can maybe make an assumption he grew up in this environment. He saw it, because the trailers are deceiving, because you think in the trailers you're going to follow Tony throughout this movie. You really don't. You follow his uncle, who's played by Alessandro Nivola. He plays Dicky Molson Santani. I probably butchered that name. Yeah, we follow him because he's the main character, and it's just he's the uncle that Tony looked up to, and it's just man, you kind of made it hey, Tony, so you're gonna follow. Go ahead.
I must ask, so you don't really follow James Gandolfini's son, because that's where the whole film was being marketed towards as.
Yeah, they're we got the son of the original Tony to play the younger Tony, and it's just oh my gosh.
Which I thought was really cool, and really thought it was really inventive for the film to, cast him, and I've heard he was good.
He was good. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, and and I like the fact he's going to follow in his father's footsteps for it. But if he was the poster child for this film, so do you?
Yeah.
He's not the main. Is it the focus or no?
He's not the main. Okay. He's not the main focus. It's Uncle Dick, and then a few of it's mostly focuses on his parents, played by Vera Farmiga and John Berthenol, and then we follow Leslie Odom Jr. and then Alessandro.
I was going to ask you about all those great cast that's in this movie between Leslie Odom Jr., John Bernthal, Vera Farmiga, Corey Strong, Ray Liotta. How are they all in it? You can let's give a warning to anybody who hasn't listened yet. Spoilers. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to be able to check this out.
It's on HBO Max till 31st.
Yeah, I do have the HBO Max, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it. But you can spoil it.
Well, I'm not going to not go into too many details, but Alessandro, he's the main character, of course, and then the second probably male lead would be Leslie Odom Jr. because they were partners. In the beginning of the film, they kind of had a falling out, and it led to them kind of being rivals. John Berthenol and Vera Farmiga, they were good because they're parents of Tony and his sister. I know that Tony and his sister are very integral parts of the series, and then the mom is too. So it's kind of cool to see to see how he grew up, but we didn't get a lot of that. Everyone else did a fine job. Ray Liotta, it's interesting what they did with him because he plays two characters. He plays the grandfather of Tony, who got killed by Alessandro. And then when he goes to visit John Berthenol, because John Berthenol goes to prison for warrant, and he goes to Dickie goes to visit him, but it turns out Ray Liotta had a twin brother in prison.
Oh my gosh.
Because he killed a made man, so he was stuck in prison. And it's like, oh, that's just used to have Ray Liotta in there. But the thing is that Dickie killed his dad because he was beating his new wife he got from Italy. And it turns out after he killed her, he went with the wife from Italy, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Everyone did a good job. I love the performances because, even with the good direction, it's just the script was just, it was very all over the place with his stuff. It's like from one scene we would go from like, hey, at times it felt like I was watching Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm not even joking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting anybody to bring that into a discussion. I'm going to say that, I'm a Jersey girl, so I'm thinking, did it honor New Jersey, properly, you think, or at least acknowledge the Jersey setting in its best form? Because I do have a couple comments about, it being from Jersey.
I completely forgot you were from Jersey. They mentioned Hoboken, so I knew they were like definitely like New Jersey.
Oh yeah, Hoboken. Yeah, we know. I know Hoboken.
Not being really familiar with Jersey, except for like the sports teams and everything else, and like some of the demographics, I'd say it was okay from it. It was just mostly just a lot of Italian stuff. And I don't know if there's a lot.
I thought it was Jersey's a big Italian culture to it. I must say also, casting aside, I thought it was funny that they casted Vera Farmiga because she's also from New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, was born in a town that's not too far away from me. I will say that. And I was like, oh yeah, because also her other sibling is also Taissa Farmiga is also from the same area too, as Vera. So I just thought it was funny. And, they also had, I thought was funny, I almost got tickets to this. I was going to get tickets to the premiere of this film. And you could have gotten the tickets if you went to I think it was like Lincoln Center. But I thought it was like they should have had the premiere in New Jersey.
They should have.
And especially in the Newark district, because the title of the film, where it's set, and also there's a great performing arts center in there that does film and entertainment stuff all the time. So I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is it not doing it in Newark? So but that's to say I didn't go to the premiere. I'm just commenting on that.
They really did screw up an opportunity. You could have just had,
they should have brought me in for this event placing.
Yeah, but it's a fine film. I mentioned it to my friend. I said, it's a movie I'll watch once and I wouldn't seek out again. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
Currently has a 73% from a critic score and 59% score on Rotten Tomatoes. You think that's fair?
Yeah, because I can see the critics liking this from a film technical standpoint. I think it's a good film. But like from a casual viewers, like moviegoers, they'll think that this movie's kind of boring. Because if you think about it, this movie is really made for fans of The Sopranos. Like, if you come in not knowing anything, you could be a little lost, and that could lower your opinion of the movie. But I thought it was like not being familiar with The Sopranos. I enjoyed it for what it was as like a movie itself. I think people who went into it like not knowing anything about The Sopranos, I think maybe they thought it was gonna be like Goodfellas, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of expectations were basically relying on, because that's what I thought about a lot for this film, especially like when I was watching the trailers and seeing a lot of hype from it and photos and how this show was. It made me think of like, okay, Goodfellas, anything Martin Scorsese directed.
Not even close.
And knowing it's not even close, it comes from the director, of Terminator Genesis, and Thor: The Dark World. So it just makes me think, like, what is the director? Like, how was he able to do this?
I saw the filmography and I'm shaking my head. Thor: The Dark World is the worst Marvel movie, and Terminator Genesis, it's a movie where, like, I saw it, but I vividly want to forget it from my mind. So I don't know how you went from two critically, like, panned movies to, like, this type of movie.
Then again, he directed Game of Thrones, and I actually went back. He went back and directed, Sex and the City. So he has his connections to Warner Brothers.
That is true. So yeah, he's gonna be a golden boy for it. But yeah, Many Saints of Newark, 7 out of 10. It's on HBO Max on October 31st, so you want to give it a watch. I'd say, if you're a fan of Sopranos, you may like it. Maybe you might not like it. I've heard some people who actually like the show, they kind of hate this movie. They think it's shit.
One last question. Any awards potential or no? Awards potential, yes or no?
Maybe like one of the not a major award, probably like one of those like side awards. I think maybe Alessandro Novella's Dicky, he may get something for that performance. And even Michael Gandolfini, for even a little amount of screen time, he should get some recognition for it. And
probably
they did say
for the young actor for the Critics' Choice Award, when that, the critics honor like the 30, like it's like the young star to come. Like I forgot what the award category is called,
he might be in the watch for that because he did a good job for it. I think he did and they said that they're thinking about a sequel to follow.
A sequel?
Yeah, to follow Tony in his 20s, because this is mostly just him in his high school days.
Yeah.
So
I just saw he got casted in a new Liza Koshy movie. Him and Liza Koshy are gonna be together. So
he has a good future. He's got potential. He needs his acting. Yeah, if it's fine tuned, he'll have a good future.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do good, especially if he follows in his father's footsteps and makes the right career decisions.
That is true. So yep, Many Saints of Newark, 7 out of 10. So with my rambling done, Kristin, what the hell is this next movie we're talking about? Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman.
All right, this episode has been in the works for a while, folks. We announced
almost like 6 months.
Not even 6 months of that. 6 months. We were, planning our schedule for, the time being, and I made it sure we had to review this film for you guys.
Yeah. Yes.
And given the hype of how Max talk about I forgot the director's name, Michael Farrands. I almost was gonna call him Michael. What the hell? Oh my god! Now I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, I got it from here. So this movie is called Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. And if you don't know about the director, Daniel Farrands, originally he made like these horror documentaries about Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and medieval horrors. And I will say the documentaries were good. Around 2018, he decided, you know what? I want to make The Haunting of Sharon Tate, because this movie is not grossly incompetent and extremely disrespectful to her family, having her being played not only by Hilary Duff, but have her have visions of her getting killed by the Manson family over and over again, like some That's So Raven type stuff. Like, that's not bad. So they're like, and that movie got panned. So he's like, how can I up this up? How can I like take this up a notch? All right, how about 2 years later, we released The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson, where we have Mina Suvari play Nicole Brown Simpson and kind of insinuate it's her fault that she got killed and OJ didn't do it. It was the cross-country killer. So now, after 2 movies that were critically panned for right reasons, he says, hey, why not release another movie, American Boogeyman, Ted Bundy with Chad Michael Murray. And then when this movie comes out, he released another one, American Boogeywoman.
And don't forget, we're going to review that one too, Mac.
Oh, yeah, that came out. I forgot what's the woman's name? Aileen Woodley, something? Aileen
Woodland?
No,
Woodland?
It's like Warrenos. Aileen Warrenos.
If you saw Charlize Theron's Monster.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So yeah, but for now, we'll get to that one because I have so much to say about that one. But let's stick to Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. Kristin, can you repeat your story? You said when you saw this in theaters, unfortunately.
I did. Okay,
so put the audience.
So on August 16th, so this is probably, what is it now, 2 months ago? 2 months ago, I went to the theater, and I heard there was a Phantom events for this film. And I thought, well, I don't really want to pay to see it. I do have, some AMC Stubs points I would love to use. Why not go see this? And I used, my AMC Stubs points, was able to, treat myself to this little movie. And I was thinking, okay, I'm like just running into the theater. I was like 2 minutes, I was like going to be like 2 minutes late. The guy took me in. He's like, okay, go ahead. I sit down. I'm thinking to myself, okay, the movie's about to start. And then, if anybody has really been to a Phantom events, they don't really show any trailers. They just go straight right into the movie. I walked in at 7 o'clock exactly. It could become 7:10. And I'm saying to myself, why isn't the movie playing? And I'm the only one in the theater. And nobody else showed up to the screening. And I'm saying to myself, I'm looking around. I'm like looking at my phone, checking the time, texting my boyfriend saying, hey, I'm at the screening, looking at my purse, seeing if, just trying to pass time, thinking to myself, okay, this movie has to start soon. And then I'm like, okay, I obviously need to go talk to somebody. I'm like, go back out to the ticket counter. I'm like, hey, I'm here for the movie and it's not playing. He goes, oh, okay. Is there something wrong with the screen? I'm like, yeah, there's something wrong with the screen. And for anybody who doesn't know, I worked in a movie theater for a short period of time. So I know how things go with movie theaters. Sometimes films don't always work, and, DCPs and all, it gets very technical. Something was going wrong. So he's like, okay, I'll get somebody to go fix it. And I go, okay, go back to my seat. 5 minutes pass by, and then all of a sudden I hear do 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 do, and I'm saying to myself, this doesn't sound like Ted Bundy. What's playing? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then I go back up to the counter, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, that's not the right movie. And he goes, what's playing? You're seeing the Ted Bundy movie, right? Because that was the only ticket he sold for Ted Bundy. And I'm like, yep. And I say, yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is playing. And he's like, do you want to see a different film? I'm like, no, I just drove out here for 30 minutes to see this movie. I'm not leaving here until I see this movie.
I thought you were a psychopath. Like,
no, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. But that was what my head was thinking. I'm like, no, I don't want to see another movie. I just want to see this movie. And he goes, okay, don't worry. We'll get somebody to fix it. And then I go, okay. 10 minutes goes by, and eventually I'm still looking at Charlie and Chocolate Factory. I'm like, okay, just listening, waiting for G Wilder to come on. And I'm like, okay. Once I see Charlie, like, I think it was like maybe in the bedroom or something with his grandparents or something like that. It was like when everybody was just getting the golden tickets or something like that. And I'm saying to myself, this movie's been playing for at least a while now. I go back out, and I'm like, the movie's still playing. Nobody fixed it. This had to be at least maybe another 10 minutes or so. He goes, oh my God. All right, we'll get somebody back on it again. And I'm like, thank you. I go back in the theater, and this time I'm waiting outside the theater just to make sure the right movie's playing before.
Everybody, yeah.
And I just call it a night, and I say, well, that's how I wasted my night. And I hear almost like a documentary going off, and I look in, and I'm like, oh my God, is this the movie? Like, I thought they like fast forward all the way to it. Like there was like a mini movie before the actual movie.
Yeah.
And the mini movie that was showing, it was like a mini documentary that was narrated by Lynn Shaw, who is in this movie, by the way. She narrates it, and it's basically the whole film wrapped up in like a minute or 2 minutes. And I was like, well, and they show like a credits and everything like that. I'm like, did I just watch the movie? Like, did they just rip me off of my free ticket? And then all of a sudden I see this lady come in. I'm like, oh, is she here to see the movie? She hands me a coupon for another free movie. So I got a free movie on top of another free movie. Because she's like, I feel bad you had to sit through all this. And I'm like, yeah, I worked in theaters. I get it. I understand. She's like, come back. We'll treat you again. And I'm like, okay. Then finally, I see the whole thing. I hear the music going, and the movie finally plays. It literally took them at least a half hour to get this movie going.
Do you think they were doing that?
Watch.
Do you think they were doing that on purpose? Like, God, we need to save this movie.
No. I just knew, because when you work in a theater, you still have to play the film, regardless of who was in the theater or not. You need to make sure you're playing the right film, because the theater will rent it out the theater for that time. It's a whole logistic stuff.
Okay.
But you have to make sure you're playing it on time. You have to make sure that you can't go back and rewind stuff. It's all very, like I'm just saying right now, it's very, very technical. So, if that was on their end, if I wasn't in there and they just didn't know that this whole situation was going on, it would have been fine. And, but, for a customer who went in there and knowing that, okay, we have to get this right, that's really important, because it screws up anything, because who knows what could have happened, because I think there was another movie playing right after that time. So if there wasn't a movie that was playing, let's say, I don't know, Don't Breathe 2 was also came out at that time. And if there was a 10 o'clock showing of that and maybe this projector was broken, then, that's on the theater's fault. And it all gets very technical in that way. And, stuff gets screwed up. But I saw the film in theaters. I had the theater going experience, like what Daniel Farrands wanted. So I saw it. I didn't rent it. And I must say, thank goodness I didn't pay for this.
So after all that, you got to watch a crappy movie. Do you think they were just
I watched a bad movie.
Do you think they're just like, Ted Bundy, what the hell is this? We have this? What?
I think they were just very confused. They were just like, okay, well, we'll just play the film if we have to,
They're like, what the hell?
Yeah, no. It's funny how this whole film has come about, because I just remember, I don't know, I think it was Flixtalk who even posted the news about this.
Yeah,
and it said Chad Michael Murray was going to be casted as Ted Bundy, and I'm like, they're making a Ted Bundy movie, and I'm saying to myself, okay.
Flix posted about it, and actually, I remember I think I texted you when I was at work one time. I said, yo, they're making the dude from the Haunting Sheraton, he's doing the Ted Bundy movie and the freaking what do you call it? Oh, the alien woodrow, because I'm like, I like to keep up with them, because I remember I did read okay, I think he's supposed to be making a movie or something. And it's like, God, I love it. And I was like, when David posted the picture, I said, mwah, beautiful. It's gonna be awesome.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it. I am just it amazes me, because it just shows how he has been able to get away with a lot of this stuff, because the whole film isn't different from what you normally see, because I think what really is jarring to see and really insulting to any of the victims when, Ted gives that really brutal attack.
Yeah.
Because that happens in the film, I must say. It's kind of...
Yeah.
It's not appropriate to illustrate again.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The thing with Daniel Farrands that I have a huge problem when he does these movies, because obviously they're so bad that I laugh at them. One thing that's very disrespectful I always see is that whenever he does the attack scenes in any of the movies, like Murder of the Cole Brown Simpson, when her and Ron Goldman were murdered, and then The Haunting of Sharon Tate when her friends got killed and everything, they always they're so long, they're violent. Jesus, man,
they are violent. I don't know, what happened with you, before I go into detail of how the murder is pretty much executed on film. Tell the audience what happened with you.
Yeah, so we discussed this episode for months now, and I was like, okay, I gotta wait to watch it, because I was like, I'm not seeing this shit in theaters. So you say, hey, we're gonna do this next episode. It's like, yeah, okay, bet, let's do it. And so I fell asleep, movie was over. I said, missed the whole thing. You texted me today saying, hey, we're gonna make sure you watch the movie. I said, okay. I watched a few minutes of it, got pissed, turned it off, and said, screw it. I kind of can guess what happened, because I really do not want to give this man any of my time. I watched it on a really good site, but I'm not gonna say it. But like, it's just I'm very like, I wish this man nothing. Like he needs to be like stopped with these damn.
He
movies.
does need to be stopped, at least in the way he's telling his stories at the moment. I'm sure, like, I really haven't watched any of the documentary stuff that he's released, but there needs to be
the thing is,
like a wake up call to him and say, what are you doing?
The documentaries are actually, the ones he did are actually really good. Like they're actually very informative with like the horror movies. Like I don't know why he was like, I'm gonna switch to just doing these trashy exploitation movies.
And it's amazing how much celebrity, you know, attention he's getting. I mean, he's worked with, you know, Hilary Duff, and now he's got Lynn Shaw and Holland Road and Chad Michael Murray, and now he worked with Peyton List and Toblin Bell. Like I don't understand like how he's getting more profound with these films. Not profound, but more popular, which is the best word.
We call that people who need money.
Yeah, I guess so. And I'm just really bummed how it all turned out, because I was like willing to give the man a shot, and it just shows he, you know, because I thought, okay, maybe third time's the charm with this, and it just shows that he didn't really change with any of his stuff. And when you see now I'm going to talk about the final act. It's a very long, depiction of what happens, at that really, killing that happens. And that happens in Florida, that takes place at the sorority house or whatever the complex it's at. It's uncomfortable. It's very tasteless and just absolutely uncalled for to recreate. If there was a way to discuss, or maybe stood outside the building, or like a house where it took place, like how other, films that, have discussed a murder or something like that. Similar to how Ted Bundy, what the Zac Efron was, the wickedly loud, whatever it was called. That was fine. I didn't love it, but at least the reenactments weren't as graphic in what it wants to do. This here, it, felt very out of line.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. And it felt like there was more attention put onto this than the rest of the film, because this film has very, very minimalistic in every way possible. All the way down to actually, if you think back and go back to Chris Stuckman's review of reviewing Nicole Brown Simpson, I was thinking back on the ways that he discussed where the sound quality wasn't great, and the set design. It all looks cheap in the worst way possible. And you can tell that this was filmed during the pandemic. And it looks like, similar to how Lifetime was filming their movies at the last year, when they were all being filmed during the pandemic. Especially there was this Melissa Joan Hart movie that you could tell. This could also be told that this was filmed during the pandemic, and it just showed there was no care, and just showed that, we want to get Chad Murray to be crazy and kooky as possible, because there's this really also inappropriate scene where he gets really too uncomfortable with mannequins, and I'm just sitting there just laughing my butt off. I'm like, what is he doing? Go away.
The thing is that these movies are so for him, quick to make, because when he did The Haunting of Sharon Tate, he was already in pre-production of the Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson, and he just released 2 of these, The American Boogeyman and The American Boogie Woodsman.
Basically back to back.
Yeah, so that means he's been working. Someone's funding him to make these movies. Let me see the studio. It's 1428 Films and Greenlight Pictures for this one.
Okay.
And it has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and, that's higher than Nicole Brown Simpson. So somebody in the Rotten Tomatoes score has liked it. It shows the one reviewer that has the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm not going to say who it is. You guys can probably go find and do the research yourself. But everyone has bashed this movie, and it says, especially from East Bay Express, Kelly Vance, he says, belongs in the changed and fictionalized school of true crime clickbaits. Leave this one alone. That's actually pretty true. Leave this film alone. Stephen Atcher from Film Inquiry, he says on his score on Rotten Tomatoes, Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman, does little to add to the cinematic legacy of Ted Bundy and subsequent investigation into his murders. Yeah, the murder, what there's not much. I feel like there wasn't much of an investigation going on. You know, Holland Rowland, I love the girl. And she was on Teen Wolf. And she's like trying to release her inner Olivia Benson. And she doesn't do it. Her character or her script don't do it justice. She does her very well best because the girl can act. After watching her in Teen Wolf and watching her grow with her career, she can act. However, it's just the script and the directions that she's given is not great.
You sure it's just the script?
It has to be the script because Holland Rowland really is a great, good actress, and I'm just disappointed to see her casted in this film. And how do you feel about seeing Lynn Shaw or Lynn Shay, Miss Bundy?
Oh.
Oh no, Mac.
The only person I knew was Chad McMurray, and even that's a throwback name.
Lynn Shaw is from, Insidious and the a lot of the horror films that came out, Snakes on a Plane, The Darkness Falls, The Grudge. I'm surprised you don't recognize her. I'm baffled. You don't know. Mac, really?
Oh my god.
I'm kidding.
I'm actually serious. I don't even know. I barely know.
Maybe I'm just saying her name wrong. I hope I'm saying her name wrong.
No, you're saying it right, because from Stacey Wilson of the Rotten Tomatoes, she says Lynn Shay is an excellent in a small but extremely pivotal role as Bundy's mom.
She's only like in 2 scenes and then did that little documentary.
Oh man.
And she sings Amazing Grace at the end, which I was not expecting to see.
My favorite review was from Carla Hay. She writes, "The only thing you will learn is that this movie will surely hold the title of the worst movie ever made about Ted Bundy. This isn't just like watching a train wreck. It's like watching a nuclear bomb of extremely bad taste and putrid filmmaking."
Yeah, it is. I don't like the way how any of this came out, and I'm very surprised that Chad Michael Murray got casted to play Ted Bundy. I remember, I remember when he was casted in Riverdale and played like a cult leader.
Maybe he was getting ready for this role.
Yeah, that maybe helped him prepare.
And another funny thing is that if you compare the Alien Warnos poster to the Ted Bundy poster, they're virtually the same. Do you notice that?
No, really?
Look at pull up the Ted Bundy poster in the Alien. It's vividly just
Ted Bundy, and then the what poster?
American Boogie Woman, Alien Warnos.
Oh, I thought you said the Aliens poster. I'm like, Alien.
Oh, no. Alien Warnos, the American Boogie Woman. They're two. Both of their freaking posters are kind of just the same thing.
Yeah, they tried very minimal.
Jesus Christ.
I did remember seeing the poster for that one, and they didn't really do much. Like I said, Tobin Bell and Peyton List are in this one. God only knows why Tobin Bell decided to do this.
Listen, they couldn't get him back for Spiral, so he needed to do something.
No.
So all checks are starting to get smaller. But yeah, screw Voltage Pictures. I think they're the ones that keep making the money. They give them money.
Yeah, I just don't think this man should be making any more films at this point.
And you know what's funnier too? I'm looking at Voltage Pictures their film history. They did Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. They did the Netflix Ted Bundy, and they did this one.
Yeah, and then there was also another Ted Bundy movie that came out also this past year. It was No Man of God with Elijah Wood.
What is with all these Ted Bundy stuff coming out?
And Elijah Wood is not playing Ted Bundy. It's somebody else. I think it's it was oh God, what was the name? Because I can't think of it. But Luke Kirby. That's who it is. I looked it up just now, and I'm just looking at it now. There was an article. It was Chad Michael Murray, and I thought it was somebody else from Supernatural. I was like, why is the guy from Supernatural? But no, it was Chad Michael Murray. I just did a quick photo look, but I guess Ted Bundy is the stupid new internet sensation, which he shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, is that like that's real? Yeah, Tumblr. They're like, this serial killer or mass murderer. They're so dreamy. I would love to date them.
Oh my God! I just came up with a picture of side by side. And it says, this is an old article somebody posted. It's from horrorgeeklife.com. And they did like a side-by-side picture, and it's Peyton List and Chad Michael Murray. Mr. Starkshire announces release info for Ted Bundy and Alien Woodrose films, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, now we're seeing all this now. Like, I just went in with very little knowledge, but just like knowing it was Daniel's film, and just knowing Chad Michael Murray was in it and Holland wrote it, and I was at least expecting some kind of redeeming quality, and it's nothing.
Well, guess what's gonna be in the worst movies of 2021 on my list?
That one is number one, given the fact you fell asleep.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna rewatch after the podcast. But out of your rating system, what would you give this movie?
I think I gave this film a D- when I reviewed it on my
You
Instagram.
are too generous. Holy crap! This would have gotten an F, even an E.
I think I'm giving it an F nowadays too. Like, I just given how it is now. Like,
This movie sucks.
Yeah, it's not good. It's tasteless. I just gave it back. I gave it the D- because I gave it back to the willing actors involved. But otherwise, it's not good.
It's funny because I'm looking at the studio, the Voltage Films. Their filmography is like, they did The Hurt Locker was their first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did Dallas Buyers Club.
Yep.
They did Don John. What else? Wind River. Then they did All Eyes on Me, LBJ, then Extremely Wicked and Shockingly Violent, Evil and Vile. And then they did Ava with Jessica Chastain. And then they did the two
Bundy and the other one. They have I don't know why Voltage decided to help release the film then. I just don't, that doesn't make sense to me then. But
so, all right, before we wrap everything up, here I'm taking bets. What do you think his next movie is going to be?
Oh gosh. Hopefully it won't be like something scarring. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what he's going to touch.
What's a famous mass murder he do? You think he'll do the Zodiac Killer?
I mean, nowadays, now that we found out, like, we saw the potential of, the Zodiac Killer, like who the Zodiac Killer is, there was the news that recently got out. I mean, that, like, I wish I really don't want to say, like, anything. I really don't want him to do that. I mean, let him go make a documentary about the Zodiac Killer or something like that. Don't make a documentary. Go back to the old stuff. But,
last sad fact to end it on, Daniel Farrands has one award. He has the Hollywood Real Independent Film Festival Best Director for The Haunting of Sharon Tate, 2019.
Wow. Yeah, that's let's just say that not many people showed up to the festival and just voted for that film.
So Daniel Farrands, screw you. Go to hell. So I think if we're all
Try better.
No, screw you. Stop making movies. I hate you. Just please. He will be the first. Think about this. In 3 years in a row, his movie has been the number one on my worst list because it will be either American Boogeyman or American Boogeyman.
I'm just like, don't like the fact of what he's doing with his films, especially of that. Like,
this?
Yeah, after seeing this and watching, Nicole Brown Simpson and, Sharon Tate, I will watch Aileen Woodrose and just see what he did with that. But if it's anything like this again, then I don't want to see any more of his work.
All right, so let's wrap this up. All right, so after getting into that depressing topic of Daniel Farrands, screw you, God, let's talk about some box office numbers and tell the folks what we have coming up. So for the weekend of October 15th through October 17th, number 10 was The Most Eligible Bachelor with $470,000. Lamb was number 9 with $553,000. Free Guy dropped down from 6 to 8 with $680,000.
That's still making bank.
That is.
I love it.
And speaking of which, did you hear that Ryan Reynolds is taking a sabbatical from film?
Really?
Yeah, he's going on vacation. Honestly, he kind of
deserves it. Knowing what he's done, he's done a lot. I'm excited for that Christmas movie. Remember we talked about that Christmas movie last episode? If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah. And number 7, we have Raku with $706,000. That's production company distributor is not available. Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings dropped from 4 to 6 at $3.5 million. The Last Duel debuts with $4.8 million. The Addams Family 2 drops from 3 to 4 with $7.1 million. Venom Let There Be Carnage drops from 2 to 3 with $16.5 million. No Time to Die drops from 1 to 2 with $24.2 million. And the king of the box office this weekend with a wide-ass lead is Halloween Kills with $50.3 million.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing with this. I guess it didn't really help that it was available on Peacock then. So
yeah, that too.
People went out to and people were willing to go out. People love their horror films. I mean, like if I could, this past weekend, I ended up seeing The Last Duel. I thought it was fine.
Is that it? Fine.
Yeah, it was good. I like I'll put up a full review, but performances were good. Action sequences were good. Generic Ridley Scott film, I felt. Great. You'll probably get to see some of the performances nominated at some point. Adam Driver though kills it. However, Adam Driver really kills it and everything. But Jodie Comer, oh my gosh, she's really, really good in that film. But yeah. But I love seeing Ben Affleck with the bleach blonde hair. That was perfect. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Perfect. Loved it. Looked like a Backstreet Boy. Could have filled in for Justin Timberlake.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm just being funny. We love you, Ben Affleck.
But with the M&K Upfront, that's the other new thing we do. The M&K Upfront. We let people what's coming up next for the podcast. So, Kristin, what do we got next? You're mostly. I let you take over planning for stuff. What do we got up next?
Oh yeah, I'm just the planner, as producer, and guest coordinator at the time. Yeah, we are having a very special episode coming up for you guys. Can't really spill the details yet, but it's going to be something special that we're going to get to release. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed because this is going to be something that you're going to want to tune in for. We can't spill the details yet. It's about a major guest. We can't say who it is, but you're going to want to check your VODs soon because this movie is going to be available on video on demand starting the first week in November. So please keep an eye out. Then that's all we got majorly coming up. But if you have any suggestions, please send it over to the M&K Productions Instagram page. So that'll be in the link in the description below. You can always find me on Instagram or reach out to Mac on Instagram. If there's somebody that you want to see on the episode, we will try to get them on.
Yes, especially now that we're starting to wrap up the year, so we can start trying to fill out the rest of our schedule and start to look to next year.
And if there's a film that you want us to review that we didn't get to review that was released earlier this year, let us know.
Yeah,
maybe we'll review a film that we haven't seen yet.
Donate to the Patreon. You could even be a guest on the podcast, or even request a film or a topic we talked about.
Yes, maybe. Who knows? Maybe you'll see Free Guy at some point. We get to talk about Free Guy.
Yeah.
Or who knows? We got Jungle Cruise coming up on Disney Plus. Maybe we'll finally get to talk about Jungle Cruise.
And Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi drops on my birthday.
Yeah, maybe we'll review Shang-Chi because I really liked it a lot. Maybe we'll talk about that. Yeah, so guys.
I think that's it, right? This has been a brief episode, but considering the last Fall Guide movie guide was 2 hours long, I think we deserve it.
Everyone deserves a break from us every once in a while, I feel like.
Yeah, we're pretty.
Especially me, ramble.
Yeah, we're pretty We're ramblers, but it's fine. So I want to thank you all for listening to another episode of the M&K Productions podcast. We will see you all next time. We don't know which episode is going to come next. Whatever comes, we'll see you then. I've been Mac. This has been Kristin. We will see you all next time. Peace.
Bye. As I wave to the computer as nobody can see me. This is.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit it fits. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah. High with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, this That's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.